I want to be able to explain in some way what I feel when I ride, when I look back on an afternoon of riding. Before I die, I have to, in some way, explain this. The thing is, I have no idea why I ride. After all, in a moment, it could all be over. And was it worth it? I don't know all the reasons why other people ride motorcycles. So I can't tell you why you should ride this motorcycle or ride some other one. Some places, people ride them because they're cheap and easy transportation. I don't have to worry about that in the United States. I've got these smooth, beautiful roads, these big super highways, all the beautiful tax-paid byways that you could ever want. But then I still seek out these small, curvy roads. My criteria for a motorcycle is simple. How does it make me feel when I ride it? The thing is, if I'm going to be honest, I'm spoiled. I have several motorcycles, and I have had several motorcycles over the years. I could sell several of the ones I have now and probably get a Vincent. I'm not 25 years old anymore, so if I was, I could probably take any of those bikes and travel the world. But I'm not, so I have to choose my weapons carefully these days. Does the adventure begin at the garage door, or does the adventure begin when I lower the tailgate on my pickup truck? Do I need to carry my stuff for several days? Am I going to be on highways more? Am I going to be off-road more? Am I going to be doing a little bit of both? Am I staying in hotels one day, camping out another day? These are all things you have to consider when you're buying a motorcycle. Maybe you're just a guy that just likes to take a ride every Sunday, and that's it. Enter the Royal Enfield Himalayan. It's not fast or powerful. It's not armed to the teeth with specs that make the desire of every motorcycle enthusiast. But I don't ride a spec sheet. So then what does it do? Literally everything else? Maybe. What it doesn't have is it doesn't have a bunch of computer chips, a bunch of doodads, a bunch of smart things that hook to your helmet and tell you a bunch of things. Sometimes when you're riding a bike like this, it's muscle memory, not ride modes. What gear are you in? Well, what does it feel like? If it's bogging down, you're in too high of a gear. If it's winding out, you're in too low of a gear. Change gears. It's really not that hard. And sometimes that simplicity is what makes you one with the vehicle. And this is one vehicle that is not that hard to feel one with. You don't feel like you're lost in this massive array of modern stuff. You probably shouldn't even bring your phone when you're on this bike. So, what do I like about this motorcycle? Well, let's take a ride. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to get a glowing review or a bad review of this bike. You're going to get an honest review. And I haven't spent a lot of time on it because I want to let some of the personality sort of come out as I'm doing this review. I'm just going to start with some of the dislikes. Okay, so one of the dislikes right off the bat is I really don't like the shifter. I don't know if it's the location, the way it's set up, if it could be set up better. I feel like I'm really reaching for it, like it's for a smaller, shorter foot or something. And I don't have a crazy big foot. I'm a size 11. But I gotta really move my foot over, I feel like, to get at it. That's a personal thing. I think a minor adjustment could fix it. The mirrors are set kind of weird. You need to really push them far out and then angle them back. But when you do that, you see a lot of your shoulder. So that could be a little bit better. The windshield is fine for what it is. I think it looks right with the bike. It, gets rid of some of the wind, not a ton of it. So, let's talk about some of the things that I like about this bike. First of all, I really like the way it looks. I just think it looks great. I'm not even sure where all the inspiration for this bike came from, but I think it's come from several different sources, and some of its own, really. Literally its own heritage. I love the dials. I think the dials are just perfect for this bike. They're simple. They give you just the amount of information that you need. Would I like to see what gear I'm in? I guess. I have so many bikes over the years that I had no idea what gear I was in. I just had to feel it. And I can feel it with this. When it starts bogging down, it's time to shift. When it starts winding out, it's time to shift. It's really not that hard. The brakes feel okay. I mean, if you want a vintage feeling bike, at least it has better brakes than most vintage bikes. The front brake is better than the back brake, as far as I can tell. All the levers feel really good. And the shifting, besides what I mentioned, is pretty darn smooth. I think it feels good. The bike purrs along nicely. The suspension isn't bad. I don't like that the turn signals don't turn off automatically. But again, this is the simplicity of a simplistic, non-complicated bike. Now here's where it looks like I could almost redline. But I'm not, and I'm picking up speed. This bike is stress-free. I mean, literally, I just don't stress out on this bike. I mean, it just feels good to ride around on. It feels light, even though it's not ridiculously light. It feels old school. I mean, it really does. It's got that nostalgia part of it. I mean, and that's super important in a lot of ways because, like I said, a big part of the reason I ride motorcycles is because of how the motorcycle makes me feel to ride it. What gets me excited when I walk out and I look at that bike and I think about throwing my leg over and taking a ride, I think the Royal Enfield Himalayan is Mr. Rogers of adventure motorcycles. It's pleasant, it's fun, it's nostalgic, and I just really enjoy it. So I wish it was just a little bit faster, yes, and there is another model coming that will be faster. It will have more torque, it will have more horsepower, and that's coming sometime in the summer.